Hello everyone. So once upon a time I used to be like 100% saying no, we should not do this. But now I'm kind of like we should talk about it, but I don't know 100%. Is it the right thing to do? Because years ago they used to do it. Not when I was young. Obviously I'm a bit younger than years ago. But going back maybe 40 years ago in County Cavan, take for example. He used the local authorities, Cavan County Council, take for example, me County Council, the local authorities used to pick up the rubbish basically from even people's houses. They used to pick it up. It used to be the council used to be over. It used to be not national. It used to be, nationalized. Now it's privatized. Oxygen. You have other crowds. Like take for example, for every 3 months I pay my, bin charges here for the bins, and it's nearly 120 euro. Obviously my bins will be very heavy, but it's €120 for 3 months, which give or take is a good few bob for 3 months. And I've kind of a few people have raised this over the last few years with me, and it's kind of maybe said to me, we should talk about it and see what people think of it. Particularly at local level, local authorities should talk about it in different local. Again, it would cost a lot of money, of course. Um, like last year alone, the waste management budget in Cavan for legal Dublin, like this is legal Dublin, this litter around the county and for litter and things like that was 1.3 million. So that's only for that. So to think about if we started picking up all the rubbish from everybody else's house, um, it would be a fair chunk of money. I'm sure you would agree. It would be a fair chunk of money to do it, and obviously it would be huge. It would be a huge operation to try and do it. Let's put it that way. But I know a few people have talked to me about it and raised it before to me and said we could do it because years ago they done it. The Celts has done it as far as I know in the town, Cavan town and around different areas. I don't know was it county wide, but to a certain extent, yeah, they used to do it years ago. Even in Northern Ireland, there, I think it's up to the local authorities to collect the rubbish. I don't think this privatised. I think it's nationalised. I think it's up. I think it's the city councils and things like that that's over them in Northern Ireland. Could be wrong because I know they're on strike now. Some of the council unions up there are on strike, and the rubbish is piling up everywhere. So I don't know, but yeah, we should talk about it. But again, we have to talk about this logically. And two people that were talking to me before about it, but like we have enough money to do it in the finances. In other words, in the country, in the property tax and things like that. But again, it will cost a huge amount of money. And if we were going to do it again, we have the conversation about this and have a serious conversation about it. We have to talk about where we're going to finance it. Obviously, there have to be something either an increase because obviously the property tax is high enough and things like that. So there have to be an increase in property taxes by a few percent or so to do it. Obviously, because they couldn't do it for nothing. Basically, the local authorities have to, or the government would have to get some extra income from somehow. Or either be they charge you, or the businesses have to take the brunt, or again have to find the money. It's not like a magic wand that can do it, and things that obviously it would cost a good bit. I would estimate probably it would cost billions the state a year to do that. Like imagine people, like I've seen people who can well afford to pay for rubbish, dumping in fields, dumping in ditches, and these people have 3 or 4 cows. These people have a farm and land. Like it's outrageous what you see, but let's be fair now. Is it fair for the local authorities to go around and collect? Take for example, if we did bring this in the morning, if it was all publicised, and the councils were going around and picking up the rubbish at people's houses. Like take for example, you have your weekly stuff, your milk cartons, your egg cartons, whatever. You put it into the bin and the local authorities pick it up, and say to every house in the country, it would cost a huge amount. It would cost a huge amount in land for and cause and obviously manpower too. You would need to increase manpower by 50 times over to meet the demand. Because again, take for example in County Cavan compared to years ago. County Cavan obviously has a lot more people now than they did years ago. And just using this as an example, over nearly 100,000 people live in the county of Cavan. And all sides of the county, like you have to think about every inch of the county you have to cover, and that's a quite a bit of land and compared to coverage you need to cover. And then you think about the big cities, Dublin City, like it'd be impossible nearly to do, for the city council and that are up there in Dublin. But again, I suppose we should have a conversation about it. Again, it was done years ago. I don't remember, but about 40 years ago. If I was 20 years older, I probably would remember it. yes, I often have people say to me, years ago, the town council at the time in the town, in Cavan Town, they used to collect the rubbish for people's houses and things like that. But I don't know where they got the money. Like, they obviously had to get the extra money from somewhere. So either they had to pay more on the road tax, or again, as to say, they could you could up the road tax to pay for it, because again, the money has to come from somewhere. In other words, there's no magic tree, unfortunately. Van Malen might say there's a magic tree up in King, so we can't people know of this magic tree. We live it every day. But yeah. So make sure you check his channel. Just randomly just putting it out there because I'm just thinking back to this video. So yeah, that was kind of random, but I don't know. I suppose we should talk about it. Obviously, we should talk about it, but I don't know. Is it the right direction? Obviously, as I say, 120 euro take, for example, for 3 months. I don't mind paying it. To be totally honest, it's not a loss for me. I rather do the right thing, and that's the right thing. Dispose your rubbish correctly and in the right proper manner. And I would probably pay two forwards if I was doing the right thing. Again, I would pay nearly 250 euro if I had to do the right thing, because again, it's the right thing to do, to make sure you just don't fuck it into a shuck and make it somebody else's business to do. You do the right proper thing. And people might say that's very, and I know people that are paying outrageous bin charges. Again, it does go too on your way to your bin, and obviously my bin sometimes can be a bit fuller than others. So it does weigh it down, but yeah, that's estimated how much it would be every 3 months. It might be a bit more some months. Like one month a few months ago, it was nearly 140 euros for 3 months. Sorry, because that's how I get it for 3 months, and that was back after obviously December. Obviously December's obviously wrapping paper, stuff like that. So it was 140 at that time, nearly 150 I think. But yeah, just give or take. Again, I understand where people come from. I've seen people pay outrageous sums of money on bin charges and things like that, and I'm sure people agree they do pay a lot. People have a lot to pay for. But I think we should talk about and we should see, is it possible to do? I know some countries around the world do it, but is it possible to do? Is it feasible to do? Again, we can't just click our fingers and hope it works. So let me know what you think and subscribe for more, and bye.